up, everybody? Doug Timmons, 18 Greens TV, coming at you from Encinitas Ranch, of course. Today is part 2 of the setup and posture. I wanted to take an extra second to highlight an area that I feel like is often overlooked and done incorrectly. And that's how you actually bend or flex your knees when finishing your posture and setup. So let's get to work. So as we talked about in part 1, it's how to get into the posture and go into the routine and build your foundation. So once we have all that and our arms are hanging straight down, the part that I really want to cover today is how we actually bend our knees. So the proper way of doing it is when we push our knees back and we feel our tailbone up, we're messing around with our weight a little bit. Again, I like it in the center. So from there, I like to use my lower body or refer to it as your shock absorbers. So when we sit into our posture or lower ourselves down, what we do is we sit right on top of our lower body and make sure that we have a little light knee flex. We're going to still feel our tailbone up and our back nice and straight and covering the ball. The incorrect way is pushing your knees and your glutes under. What happens is your back gets rounded and it promotes early extension and also limits the amount of rotation that you can have unless you really snap back or really snap through. So what we want to try to do is eliminate that. And a good way of checking to make sure that you've done it right is when you push your knees and your glutes back and have your arms hanging straight down, if you bend your knees and do it properly, you look down and you'll see the same amount of shoe, the top of your shoe, as what you had when you started. If you do it incorrectly, you look down and you actually see your knees start to cover the tops of your shoes. And we don't want that. In my experience, I've found that rotation is very important. I hear a lot of debate whether or not you're supposed to rotate or you restrict your lower body. Unless you're hyper flexible, rotation is extremely important. And why that is when we set up, we want to make sure that everything starts from the feet up, and when you're rotating on your backswing, rotating around your right side and posting up over the top of your right leg, keeping a little pressure in your left is extremely important. Now, if I have my knees and my glutes under, then when I go back, it's going to promote me to stand straight up and down. And also on the way through. If I'm in this position and I'm starting down and all of a sudden I start down and my knees and glutes go under, then I'm going to early extend on the way through. So again, pushing your knees back, going through the whole routine, setting up so you can flex your knees. Again, use them as shock absorbers. Feel a little bounce in your lower body. You don't need to push under, you don't need to be too far back, but just feel a little bit of bounce. That way you're nice and loose and ready to go. So rotating around your right side, then when you start down, you get the weight shifting over to your left, and so that way, when you're moving your left side, you can have a nice strong foundation to rotate around your left side. So take the extra bit of time, check the way you're flexing your knees or bending your knees when you're finishing your posture and getting into the final stages of your setup to lower yourself down to the ball. Very important. I think you'll see a lot of benefit from making sure that your knees are down and nice and bent rather than pushing them under and getting your upper body to early extend. That's part 2 of the posture. 18 Greens TV. It's a wrap.